This is the Horse Radio Network.
Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1322, where Horse Radio Network founder and chief cook and bottle washer Glenn the Geek sits down with Shawna Karrasch to talk about starting a new business and thinking outside the box. This episode is brought to you by Purina Mills. Do you know how to tell if your horse is a senior? If you guessed age, you'd be wrong, because not all horses age at the same rate. So how do you tell if your horse has entered their golden years? Well, you might notice gray or white hair around the eyes and muzzle, weight loss, low energy, a decline in mental condition, or a choppier gait due to aches and pains. If any of these describe your horse, he or she might be a senior, and it might be a good time to start him or her on Purina Equine Senior or Equine Senior Active Horse Feed. They both have Active Edge, a proprietary prebiotic proven through years of research to support a senior horse's aging immune system. With Purina Equine Senior, greatness never ages. To learn more, visit purinamills.com/activeage.
Well, hi, Shawna, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. It's always good to speak with you.
You too, Glenn. It is great to be here.
We talked about doing a tip, you and I. You have started a few businesses in your lifetime, and I've started a number and consulted with a number of businesses, large and small. And we talked about how things are changing in the world today. And this tip is really about business plans versus business outlines. So tell me your experience with business plans in the past.
Okay. When I first started the business back in, like 96, 97, you laid out a plan, and I had this vision that I thought this is how to go, and these are the steps it'll take, and this is where it'll be. And what I found is it didn't go like that at all. But in fact, it went better, but it went in directions that I couldn't anticipate. I couldn't even have planned it as good as it went, and just different doors open that I didn't know, but led down a different path altogether. And I found that the best thing I could do is not get hung up on, markers as success or failures, but all of it as a learning thing, and to kind of, if a door opens, not to be afraid to walk through it, and just have a little faith that it's going where it's supposed to go, and it usually does. So as I've kind of really rekindled the business lately, I kind of thought, I'm going to have an immediate plan, or these are actions that I want to take, but I've tried not to limit myself with getting a set, guideline in my head too much. It's a general guideline versus these are the particular steps. So I've really kind of found that it'll be even better if you just can go with it a little more. It's been my learning experience.
I think it's because we're both getting older and lazier a little bit too. But now I totally agree with you. And when I started the Horse Radio Network, I had an outline. I had what I call a business outline. Business plans can be quite extensive. And the one thing I found, especially with larger businesses, and we could name very large corporations that have ran into this problem, in that they had a plan and they're going to stick to it no matter what, and they're not going to react as things change. IBM is a perfect example. When Microsoft came along, they didn't react. Microsoft right now, as Apple and a bunch of other people are really pushing them in areas that they didn't plan for. So you have to really, and especially with new media today, with the with advances in technology and new media, what is here this year is completely different next year. So I do believe that you should have a plan of some sort. You should have an outline of where you want to go, your goals. I think goals are very good. But I, like you, believe that you have to be willing to adapt, and you have to be willing to follow those doors as they open, even if they're a little off of your plan, as long as your goal, you still have your eye on the end goal.
Yep, and I totally agree with you that things, and sometimes, something I think is really important to me and maybe my horses and my horse thing, as you put it out there for people, you kind of realize maybe that's just either overcovered by other people or it's a personal thing. But something else that I kind of put out a little arbitrarily, people will totally be into and run with and responding to. So I find that you got to be listening to what people want. And then, like you said, with the new media just changing so much, I don't even think we have an idea what'll be next. Like if you would have said to me anyway, like 5 years ago, kind of tried to describe Facebook, and I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Or you would have said, who would use that?
Yeah, why would people do that? That just seems, I can't even, so.
If you had only known that your first boyfriend from high school, you would have been reconnecting again on Facebook all these years later.
Exactly. Oh, no. And then you're saying, who is that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Whose picture is that? But, yeah, it is totally, I totally agree with you. A general outline is the best way to go, and I think for me, the thing I just need to keep doing is moving forward towards, the big goal. And as something goes, like you said, to kind of reevaluate and go off course a little bit, but it doesn't mean you have to lose maybe one direction you're going. You can go that way, but I totally agree with you. If you're responsive and listening to what people are responding to, I mean, I think that is the best gauge. And the horse industry is just all over the map. I mean, we have so many different disciplines and so many different, kind of demographics as far as male, female, disciplines, monetary levels. You can do a clinic in somebody's horse is $500, and you do a clinic and the horse is $3 million. Well, those are very different, but it all, so it's all very different. It's just totally, you just got to listen and respond. I think that has been what's helped me the most. And like I said, I think it ends up better than I think.
Well, and I think you back in the 90s when you started on target training and clicker training, that was new to the horse world. And I think that's an important lesson too. There was not a radio network dedicated to the horse person like we have done it. And I have always wanted to be first at things. I've always wanted to be the first one to do it. It bores me being the second one. And the first, if you put your heart into it and you do it, you'll be the leader and everybody else will be following you. And I think that's an important lesson. Figure out a way to do it differently and be the first. If you're out there and you've researched and you've got, what's available to you technology wise and education wise and everything else, then change up the model a little bit, especially in the horse world. Change it up a little bit and be the first.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you're going to learn being the first because there's no map to follow. And I didn't have a map to follow with the Horse Radio Network either. We've made some mistakes along the way, and you're going to make those. And it's going to be a little bit easier for your competition, but guess what? You're first. You're still out in front, and they're following you. And you did that when you did on target training way back when. Yes.
And it was even hard to kind of write a business plan because you're going, it's not like there's another, dry cleaner, or something that you go, this is exactly how they did it. You're like, it's all just a bunch of unknowns, and you can limit yourself by kind of thinking, no, this is how I'm doing it. But I think it's just the sky's the limit, and it really is. You can't be afraid to be first. I feel like you shouldn't ever be afraid to be first. I think it would be a bigger crime for me if I didn't follow my heart, my passion. I think then I would at 80 sit there and think, what if? And I think that the best thing you can do is to kind of move forward as best you can and following your heart and listening to the people and breaking new ground, not being afraid to break new ground.
Well, thank you, Shawna. This has been great. Where can people find out more about you and your business?
Probably the easiest website to give you is, they all kind of go to the same place, but Ask Shawna will take you to my base website, but it's easier than remembering Shawna Karrasch or putting, it's just an easy one. So if you, yeah, exactly. Ask Shawna. You go there and it'll take you to my website and kind of what's going on and different avenues I have for helping to reach and teach and offer solutions to people.
And that about wraps it up for today. Remember, you can listen to all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows by downloading the free Horse Radio Network app. Go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network for your Android or your iPhone. It's free and easy to use. You can also subscribe via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thank you again to this episode's sponsor, Purina Mills. You can learn more about Purina Mills senior horse feeds by going to purinamills.com/activeage. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.